Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits, and today is Sunday, December 8th, 2019. This is episode 344. If you're a returning viewer and joining me for one more episode, thank you as always. And if you're new, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and you'll come back in the future as well as maybe checking out some past episodes. Anyway, let's get into what's been going on in the past 2 weeks since I've seen you last. I've done a little bit of traveling, nothing too extensive. We've had Thanksgiving, and we've had house guests, and now it's kind of slowing down a little bit, and we're getting ready for the holidays here in Central Illinois. So, last we spoke, we were getting ready for Thanksgiving, and that came, my mom and sister Amanda came over for dinner, and Andy, as always, did a wonderful job of cooking the meal. My mom made some of the desserts. I made some amazing mashed potatoes. We then broke out the Knitting the Card game that I had purchased via Kickstarter, and after several attempts of trying to figure out the game, we eventually did. And we played 2 rounds of that, which was fun. And so then Friday was Black Friday. And what we did was we had a trunk show set up for Saturday. So we went to Noblesville, Indiana, to the Black Sheep Yarn and Fiber Arts, where we've been several times. We usually go twice a year. And we got there Friday afternoon. We worked in the morning and drove the 2.5 hours there. Well, closer to 3. And we proceeded to set up for the trunk show for Saturday. We got there Saturday morning, and it was a lovely day. People trickling in and out all day, and got to say hi to some people, help people plan some future projects, and things went pretty smoothly. We tried out a different way of checking in and out inventory, which I think is going to work much better on our end, and hopefully much better on the shop's end here for future trunk shows. And then we packed up and we headed home. We hit our normal dinner spot in Champaign on the way home, which is Portillo's. And I indulged in, yes, a dipped Italian beef and cheese fries and a chocolate shake because I deserved it. I did. I don't need to, excuse myself. Anyway, so then Sunday, I believe we did some work. We took some time off. I took Wednesday off, which was nice, taking a day off a week. Did some crafting, did a lot of watching of Hulu, excuse me. It's just before 5 o'clock. We've been working all day, and I've been doing a lot of computer work today, so super fun. And then this past week, again, just doing a lot of work around the studio, doing more computer work to try to get the new website up and running. We do have it opened, leadingmenfiberarts.com or www.leadingmenfiberarts.com will take you to the new website. The Big Cartel shop is still open until we officially get all the way moved open. There are a few bases not currently on the shop yet, and a lot of the project bags, kits, and other accoutrements are not up there yet, so that's what I'm currently working on. But not only that, I realized today that the way that I completely set up the shop is not the way that is most shoppable, so I'm trying to re-go through everything. So I took almost most of today working on just the box office worsted weight base and reorganizing that so it would be easier to shop on your end. Excuse me, which is the most important thing, right? For you to be able to find things and purchase things. So, still working on that. And, So, on Friday, Andy and I went over to my local yarn store, which is Les Moutons Rouge Knittery in Bloomington, Illinois. And we set up for a trunk show over there for her hand-dyed holiday event, or as she calls it, the greatest day of the year. It is an annual event that Kelly puts on over there, and she brings in every year over 10,000 skeins of hand-dyed yarn just for this event. So she brings in trunk shows on top of all of the yarn she regularly stocks. This year, she, besides having us in person, she also had the girls, Anna and Antoinette, of Black Cat Fibers, whom we are good friends with, and they actually stayed with us on Friday night. They came in and set up as well. Then we went out to lunch with them while we were setting up, came back, finished. Then they came over and we just hung out at the house, relaxed in our PJs. We walked the dogs down to the studio to show them that and show them our town square, and we just relaxed. Yesterday, I'm so sorry. Yesterday was the event. I was there for most of the day. I left about a half hour early. Our yarns are still there through next Saturday, so if you weren't able to drive over for the events yesterday, most of the trunk show except for Black Cat, all the other trunk shows are there throughout the week. But it was a good event, and I got to see a lot of people. A couple of you stopped by and said you watched the podcast. As always, I appreciate that because, again, I'm just looking at the little black camera dot on the iPad and trying to make eye contact with you rather than look at myself. And I don't get to see you. So it's nice when people come up and say hi and that they watch the show, and they appreciate the time and effort that I put into producing this. So yeah, the girls and I went out to lunch yesterday too. We had some Mexican. It was good. And then, yeah, I came home and I took a nap because I was tired, like today, because I always seem to be tired anymore. Seriously, I got to get rid of these yawns. All right. That's what's been going on the past couple of weeks. Let's get to the knitting, shall we? I have a finished object. I was like, I don't have anything to show. I forgot. I banged out a finished object on my day off, Wednesday. So I told you before that my quote-unquote brother-in-law told Andy that my niece and nephew wanted an Uncle Steve hat, which means a knitted hat by me. And it would be a good Christmas gift for them. So while I was putting it off, I was like, you know what? I've got some bulky gray yarn because Alex wanted gray and Avery wants purple, and I have some worsted weight purple. So I knit up the Jason's Tweed hat by Melissa Thompson, though I'm calling this is Alex's non-tweed hat because it's not a tweed yarn. I used Plymouth yarn Encore Chunky in number 389, which is this gray, and I used a size 8 for the brim and a 10 for the body, and in fact, because I only had 10.5 double point needles for the top, that's what I used at the top, and it was very simple, it's a 5x5 rib, which was not my favorite. I like a tighter rib, but it was something different. I did modify the pattern. It asked for you to do another inch of ribbing. It was a really tall 3-inch brim, and I was not a fan of that, so I just did 2 inches. It's got just the slightest bit of slouch. Now, my nephew is probably of smaller head than I am, so it could have a little bit of slouch, or if you pull it down into a watch cap, you can flip the brim up and make it into a shorter double-brimmed hat. So that's that simple, quick, easy, gotta love bulky yarn. This yarn is mostly acrylic with some wool in it. And yeah, so that was super easy. I've already washed and blocked it. I just blocked it flat because I did not want it to actually grow any. And the acrylic yarn, I spun it out in our spin dryer for the business, and it was almost dry by the time I laid it out, and it was dry by the end of our workday. And so yeah, this is a Christmas gift ready to be done. Andy gets to wrap and package it. That's part of the agreement. I will knit for the family, but you get to wrap it. So there's that. That's all that I finished this week. I did make some other progress on things that I can show. All right, so let's move into what's performing. What have I been working on? So I worked on my Plaid Please by Amy Miller. Pen just flew out of my bag. And this is a knit along that my local yarn store, Les Moutons Rouge Knittery, is hosting. And so I had some of this in podcast stash, and it calls for some kind of silk mohair yarn. So I'm using Rowan Kid Silk Haze in Cream, Trance, and Candy Girl on a size 6 US, which is a 4mm needle. And I only have one more stripe left to go. So you can see here the first stripe, I screwed up the second stripe, third, fourth, fifth, purposely screwed up the sixth stripe, and then I have, you know, a white section, and then I go into the double stripe at the end, a little more white, and then the actual stole is done. Then I have to crochet through the loops with the pink, 4 vertical lines up to kind of make the plaid effect. So it's a decent size wrap. It'll be very warm and very light for the silk mohair, but I am ready to be done with it, in all honesty, to move on to something new. But that's that. So next up is my Riverine by Teresa Gaffey, and I am using Shibui Pebble, Silk Cloud, and Sema in color number 202. And that's a blue colorway. So it uses all the same color, but 3 different textured yarns to get the effect. It is all a stockinette and garter on the bias wrap. And I put in a little bit of work on this, not a whole bunch. I did break my yarns as I am in the process of changing yarns. So you can see the striping taking place there. So yeah, I have a feeling this will grow as well when it is blocked. All right. Next up, I gave some love to. This is my Adventuring Wrap by Amber O'Brien. This is one of her 3 Advent patterns for 2019. And this one comes with the cowl, the matching cowl. That's the second of the 3 patterns, which I may knit to show that you can get both out of our yarns. So I'm knitting this version, and I will be putting the fringe on it when it is done. I have joined in the 7th color, so I'm already behind even though I was days ahead. And here's the right side. It is knit the long way, so there are about 380 stitches on this wrap on the needles. I am using my Indian Lake Artisans hexagonal needles, a size 5 US, 3.75 millimeter needle, 40 inch. They have a swivel cable. So I'll try to remember to put in locking stitch markers so that I remember where I left off and I don't have to go over all the colors every week. But this was our 2019, it's not an Advent, mini skein collection, and it starts off with Stage Kiss, then goes into Bend and Snap, then Sandcastle, Gothic Queen, Can't Quit You, Black Walnut, and I'm currently working on Harvest. And yeah, that's going. So it's a really simple wrap. It's all garter with an eyelet row thrown in, a little bit of increasing and decreasing because it is on the bias, a very not a huge bias because it's knit long ways. So yeah, that's that. And yeah, my granny square, I'm 1 square away from finishing a row. But as I promised, I was only going to show you the blanket once I finish a row. So I considered adding one on before I recorded, but then I was like, you know what, then it's going to be like dinner time, after dinner time. So you'll just have to stay tuned till next episode to see it. All right, what's in rehearsal? What am I going to be casting on? For my niece, Avery, I picked out yarn. She wanted purple, and I wanted the heaviest weight that I could get because it would go quickest. So in my stash, I had a skein of Cascade Yarns 220 Superwash in the color 857, which looks like this. And so I'm going to do I looked at what I had paired with this yarn, because of course I have projects paired with every yarn in my stash, unless it is self-striping or destined to be socks. And so this had the Magnolia hat by Maria Socha paired with it, and it looked good, so I was like, sweet, I'm going to knit that hat. I will cast that on this Wednesday on my day off. And yesterday while at Hand-Dyed Holiday at my local yarn store. I did not buy any yarn. However, I did purchase a pom-pom to put on the hat. I was a little limited in colors. I knew I wanted something purple or rainbow, but I knew I wanted one of the pom-poms that you sew the snap to the center of the hat, and then you can just take the actual pom-pom off for washing. I knew that that would be the easiest for my niece's mom. So I knew she would not want to like untie and retie or any of that stuff. So I think it actually goes well. It's got enough difference in it to stand out but not be too crazy. So I think she'll like it. She's kind of a little princess. So anything that's extra, she's all about it. So yeah, we're trying to figure out when we're going to go see them. Whether it's going to be maybe next week sometime, or if we're going to go in between Christmas and New Year's to go visit the fam. So, alrighty then. So, in the scene shop, what have I been working on? I am still spinning, I'm sorry, not in the scene shop, behind the scenes, my spinning. I am still spinning some Into the World Romney in the Passamaha colorway. This is the first 2 ounces that I spun. I am doing a fractal spin, so this is 1/2 of the braid. And then I split the other half into thirds and spin that. I am almost 2/3 of the way done. I have about 2/3 of an ounce left. Right here. Left to spin, and then I can ply it. So hopefully I will have some finished hand spun to show you next episode. I'm still working on my cross stitch, which is a Heaven and Earth design called One for Sorrow. But while I may have finished a row, it doesn't look much different than last time, so I didn't really want to take it off the stand, but I promise to show that next time as long as I have enough progress that I feel like it's kind of worth it. So let's go into what are we watching. I am still slowly watching How to Get Away with Murder, Season 5. Caught up with The Masked Singer, finished Season 1, caught up with Season 2. We're coming down to the semifinals soon, so it's a guilty pleasure. I never thought I'd like it, but I do. Still watching Handmaid's Tale. I'm still not finished Season 2. I think I have one more episode. There's like 13 episodes in Season 2, so I just cannot binge that show. That's the reason why Andy stopped watching it with me. It is so heavy all the time that I can only watch maybe 1 episode a week. But also on Hulu, we are watching Castle Rock. We have an episode to catch up on that this week. Tonight we'll watch. So I think that's coming to a close here soon. It's really cool to see. I'm not a huge Stephen King fan, but I have read several of his novels. I did actually direct in college a production of Misery, which this season is one of its main storylines. So the premise behind Castle Rock is that it is set in Salem's Lot, or Castle Rock, Maine, Salem's Lot, Jerusalem's Lot. It's set in this fictional town that is used a lot in his books, and then it uses a lot of plot lines and characters from his books, but interwoven into one story. So this season, it's interweaving, like I said, Misery is the biggest one. It's also interweaving Salem's Lot. There's references, of course, to Shawshank Redemption, or I don't know that one so well. There was references to, what's that other one? With the boys. Anyway. But there's a lot of references to catch, and so that's kind of cool to see. My guilty pleasure the last 2 weeks was I started a Hulu original called Light as a Feather. There are 2 seasons. The first season has 10 episodes, the second has 16, but they're like 25-minute episodes. It is a teen supernatural drama dealing with the game Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board, and how that comes with a curse that haunts the ones who play it. It is very much teen driven and very poorly plot driven, but it was a guilty pleasure, and I like supernatural things, so it kept my attention. And it was very potato chippy because they were over so quick that I was like, oh, I'll just watch another one. Oh, I could watch another one. Oh, maybe one more. So, Andy and I then are also watching Watchmen, which I believe is HBO. I believe that's on HBO, but we watch it through Prime. It stars Regina King. It is based off of the comics / movie, but done much better than the movie, which was horrible. It's interesting. We're only like 2 episodes in, I think. I think most of the season has aired, but we're seeing where it goes. Not getting everything. I'm still confused by a lot, but it's interesting. So that's what I'm watching. I have not finished reading anything. All right, let's go and do stash enhancement. All right, going to the last few vendors that actually vended at the Knitting at the Estate retreat that Andy and Amanda and myself hosted, Kate as it's known, in September. So the last of the actual vendors that were there. First off, I have Sassy Songstress Yarns, whom I've never heard of before, but they applied to vend. I looked at their website and was really in love. So she had not only yarn, but stitch markers and other little accessories. I picked up 2 skeins of her DK weight, and I believe I picked a mosaic knit cowl to do with this. These are her Mezzo DK weight. It's 100% superwash merino, 231 yards. The first color is Beyond the Sea, which is this beautiful kind of sage blue green. And then this one is Walking After Midnight. Beautiful dark blue. So I thought these would contrast really well with being still very sophisticated to do some mosaic knitting. So I got those. And then my girl Julia of Knitterly Things, who is the proprietress of All Things Vesper Sock Yarn, as well as other lines in her Knitterly Things umbrella. I picked up a skein of her Vesper Sock Yarn in the 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 430 yards in the As You Like It colorway, EWE, but it's also, the Shakespeare reference. So this has a lot of fun colors in it. So I can't wait to see how it knits up. So this will be a pair of socks. It's got emerald green, orange, red, white, chocolate brown, a little bit of yellow, a light blue, and some black. I mean, it's got, I don't even know how many stripes are in this. Yeah, it's a little crazy. So that's As You Like It. And then I thought I'd show you a non-yarny purchase that went with the retreat. We had a wonderful door prize from Knits and Pearls, who is Meredith, and she had custom fabric done up for our retreat, and one of our attendees won a project bag that said Knitting at the Estate with a bunch of knitting terms on it, and it actually went to Stephanie of Telly Bee Knits, and she's the one who did our design for the retreat. And so she had some leftover fabric, Meredith did, and she put a call out if anybody wants a project bag. So Amanda and I each purchased a large project bag, and I will take it out of its plastic. I have not used it yet. Here is her business card, by the way. Of course, I don't have autofocus on the iPad. You can go to etsy.com/shop/knits, KNITZANDPEARLS. Or you can find our Knits and Pearls on Facebook and Instagram, and I will also link to it in the show notes. So, we have a project bag. And you can see some of the decorative stitching she did, which is very neat. And it goes all through the handle as well. It's got a pocket up front as well as... yeah, just the pocket on front. It's got some fancy cream floral design on the inside. And it is just a big old bucket bag. That's about the size of the flat bottom there. But do you see what it says? It says knitting at the estate. You can see it at the top. So because it was our first ever knitting at the estate, I knew I needed to support her and get this. And it says things like keep calm and carry yarn. It says leading men fiber arts on it. It's got sock blockers, a work in progress. Knitting is my happy place. Circular straights, DPNs, projects half done, 2019, faux, Angora merino silk. It's really cute. And it's my colors. So that's that. So thank you, Meredith, for making these awesome bags and doing such an amazing job of being so supportive and making the fabric. I really appreciate that. You should definitely check out her shop. And even though it is a bag, it still is a squishy. So, you can do just a sock in there and squish it in another bag, which is nice. So, alrighty then. So those are my 3 featured vendors that I wanted to give shout outs to this week. I, of course, got bags of other things that I have purchased. Bags upon bags of other things that I have purchased. So I'm going to be good for a while. Hopefully. All right, this week's giveaway, Cindy at Stitch Naughty, whom we are going to be pulling for a prize this episode, was generous and not only gave 1 podcast's worth of prizes, she also gave another prize as well. So this week, this episode, the prize is again from Stitch Naughty, who is Cindy, and you can find her at www.stitchnaughty.com. And this is one of her sock sets in the Buddy colorway, so it is Buddy the Elf inspired. And it is her Vivacious yarn line. It's 438 yards to 100 grams. And you get, it's 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina. So you get 438 yards of the main color and then about a 20 gram mini in a red. And it looks like that. So I thought this was perfect for the holidays. While you will probably not get it in time to actually knit it for this holidays, but you can already have some stashed yarn for your 2020 holiday socks. So in order to be eligible to win this on this episode, you need to go over and be a member of the Leading Men or be a member of the Dramatic Knits Ravelry group, and go to the appropriate thread, which will be up by the time this goes live, which will say the Stitch Naughty Elf sock set. And you need to answer the prompt, which this week's prompt is, what's another holiday movie besides Elf that you would like to see another sock set turned into? So that this does a little crowdsourcing for Cindy. Maybe she can do another movie next year and keep a new movie going every year. And you must be a member of the group, and only 1 post per person. I will use a random number generator to draw for a winner before I record next episode. Thank you so much, Cindy, for your generosity. I truly appreciate it. All right, inside the Knitter Studio, that's where you all get to ask questions and I answer them. But unfortunately, we have no new questions in the thread. I've answered all the questions. So if you would go on over to the Q&A thread on the Dramatic Knits video podcast group and ask me a question, as long as it's relatively not too intimate, you know what I'm talking about, I'll answer it. I'm pretty much an open book. So go on over there, ask me a question, and I'll answer it on the podcast in the future. All right, a round of applause. So, speaking of Cindy, last episode we were doing a prize drawing for these 2 skeins of Stitch Naughty yarn on her Tough Love sock. And it is in the Heliotrope colorway and the Stormy Sky colorway. So this was a 2-skein duo. And I asked, what is your favorite item in Cindy's shop? Random number generator pulled for a winner, and it chose number 68, who is Stamp to Knit. and that is Lori from Wisconsin. So congratulations, Lori. And she said Heartbreaker, the eggplant colorway, has her vote, but they're all beautiful. So Lori, congratulations. If you would please direct message me on Ravelry with your first and last name, mailing address, and email address if you would like tracking, and I will get this out to you as soon as possible. But thank you to everyone who played along last episode. All right, November has come to a close, so our November 2019 Race to the Finished Object contest has been closed out. And I pulled for a physical prize winner, and the number that was drawn for that was number 152, who is Amanda B., and that's Amanda from Texas. And she did a pair of Thelma and Louise Desert Vista Dyeworks socks. And so I went and looked from our prize pool, and one of her favorite colors is blues. And since she does, I know she knits self-striping socks, I picked this from our prize pool, which is a matching pair of turtle pearl yarns, glitter and stripe. And this is in the colorway Live Long and Prosper. It is 84% superwash merino, 16% sparkly nylon, 400 yards per 100 grams. And these are wound off to match perfectly. So, congratulations, Amanda. Again, direct message me with your name, address, and email address, and I'll get this out into the mail to you. All right, our pattern from our featured designer for the knit, the Race to the Finished Object contest. Our featured designer is Jessica Brist of Snickerdoodle Knits. I pulled for a winner, and that chose number 88, who is M. Christman, and that is Michelle from Illinois. So congratulations, Michelle. Michelle knit an ombre textured cowl by Cat Knight. So, Michelle, if you would please take a look at what patterns Jessica has available on Ravelry. Anything that is giftable on Ravelry, she can gift to you. And so just direct message me with which one of her patterns you would like, and I will let Jessica know and she will gift it to you. If you are looking for a direct link to her pattern page, you can find it on the show notes at dramaticknits.com. Speaking of Snickerdoodle Knits and Jessica Brist, we are doing a Snickerdoodle Knits knit along from November 1st through January 31st. You can knit any of Jessica's patterns. You can knit as many of them as you would like. Each finished object gets you an entry into the drawing, and each month I will draw for a winner. So we finished November, and we only had one person enter, and they entered twice. So the winner of the November drawing is B Wing, and that is Brittany from Illinois. She did Jessica's My Favorite Cable Headband pattern, and she did 2 of Jessica's My Favorite Simple Knit Hat pattern. So really 3 FOs, but she only entered twice. But because she was the only finished object so far in the knit along thread, she automatically wins. I looked, and if she loves pink, so from our prize pool, I picked 4 skeins of Debbie Bliss Baby Cash Merino, and it looks like this in the colorway. Oh, it's a bunch of numbers. 340601. It's a dusty pink. So, congratulations, Brittany. I know you've won for me many a times in the past, but if you would, I'd let you hear this. But again, I don't keep any information for privacy purposes. So again, name, address, and email address, and I'll get this out to you as soon as I can. So come on, knit some other Jessica Brist Snickerdoodle Knits patterns and put them in the knit along so that we have some competition and that, Brittany doesn't win again in December. I mean, I want to give somebody else some prizes. Not that Brittany doesn't deserve it, though. All right, so that's our knit along. I do need to, and I forgot to do it, I do need to re-pull for a winner for these 4 skeins of Rowan Kid Silk Haze. I will actually do that right now while I have this up. Sorry, I totally forgot. So it was 2 through 44. The winner of this had over a month to get in contact, and they did not. So we're going to redraw It chose number 11, who is Carlene Page. And that is Carlene from Virginia. So congratulations, Carlene. You've won 4 skeins of the Rowing Kid Silk Haze. The prompt from this was, what's the most crucial thing for a healthy relationship? And Carlene said, trust, fidelity, honesty, unselfishness, respect, and love. Very well said, Carlene. If you would please direct message me, Dramatic Knits, first and last name, mailing address, and email address. I will get this out to you as soon as I can as well. So I think that wraps up all the podcast stuff. Let's move into center stage, which is all things Leading Men Fiber Arts. I do want to tell you I'm so excited. My first real design is going to be published soon. I don't have an official date. I got the official draft from my tech editor / graphic designer, and I had to pick out some cover shots and make some few minor changes. So she also was kind of in charge of my photography shoot, as she knows photographers. So I mailed her the wrap and she put it all together, got the photographer, model, everything, got it all done. And it's so amazing. I got very verklempt looking at the pattern and looking at the photos and seeing it all come together. So stay tuned for the release of That's My Jam, which you've seen here on the podcast. The pattern will be coming soon. And of course, I will have kits in the Leading Men Fiber Art shop that includes not only the yarn, but also beads as well for the wrap. Our 2019 year in review sets will be released on January 1st, 2020 at 10 a.m. I haven't talked with Andy. I think we'll still do full skein sets, but definitely our mini skein sets will be available. We'll have 100 of those kits. They will come in a clear view, specifically designed drawstring project bag from Rick at Whimsy Stitches. He did our bag last year and we loved the way it showcased our minis, that we went with it again. But I specifically picked fabrics for this year's bag. There's no real theme this year, just the theme of, a new year and sophistication maybe. And we are having a design being designed actually with the 12 minis by Sarah Abram of Sarah Bear Crafts. So she is hurriedly finishing that up so that she can get pictures to me and get the pattern done and everything. So you will get a complimentary pattern of her design featuring the 12 minis. So if you don't know what to do with the minis, there's a pattern already ready for you to go, and she's doing an amazing job with that. So look forward to that. Upcoming shows, we have one more show this year. We're doing one more trunk show. December 20th and 21st, which is a Friday evening and Saturday. We will be in Overland Park, Kansas, which is right outside of Kansas City, I believe. And we will be at the Studio Knitting and Needlepoint store doing a trunk show with them. So we hope that right before the holidays you can get away. Maybe you need to de-stress from all the family drama or wrapping presents and you need to treat yourself, and you can come out and visit us. We will be there in person again. They'll be doing an open knitting kind of Friday night pre-shopping experience, I think. And then Saturday, there will be the full trunk show. So we will be there, and then we will be coming home and enjoying our holidays before we start getting things ready for hitting the road again mid-January. So other than that, again, you can find the new website at www.leadingmenfiberarts.com. We would love if you would join our Ravelry group, our Facebook group, follow us on Instagram, all the things. Sign up for our newsletter. If you were part of our newsletter, you got a nice thank you pre-Thanksgiving email that included a coupon for your leisure. And thank you to those of you who shopped with us. We really appreciated it. We didn't do like a big Black Friday sale or anything because of our trunk shows. We just did a little thank you coupon for our newsletter subscribers. So if you have not subscribed to our newsletter, when you go to our website, there should be a pop-up that pops up within a few seconds and you can sign up, or you can scroll all the way down to the bottom and there should be a link for you to fill in our newsletter. And as always, if you need to get a hold of us or place a custom order, you can always email us at leadingmenfiberarts@gmail.com. in terms of the show, we hope you'll join our Dramatic Knits group on Ravelry. That's how you're eligible for any of the prizes we do here. And you can find the show notes at dramaticknits.com. And the video is hosted through YouTube. And we'd love if you'd subscribe and give us the thumbs up over there. So I think that's it for this episode. I will see you in 2 weeks when I am back from Kansas City. And it will be right before the holidays. So, yeah. And I hope that you have a great 2 weeks. And until I see you again, I hope you knit something dramatic.